One very important lesson that we can all learn from watching Nim's Island is that we all have an impact on the environment, what's often called an eco-footprint. I'm here with David Mizejewski. He works with the National Wildlife Federation. David, when we say eco-footprint, what do we mean?
Well, basically, each of us has an impact on our environment, and we call that our footprint. It's just like putting your footprint in the sand and how that impacts the sand around it. And what we want is for people to minimize the negative impact of that eco-footprint. And so there's lots of different things that people can do. Kids in particular, I think one of the most important things is for them to just start learning about wildlife and what they need and, how we impact them.
What are things that all of us can do in our lives? And I think it's important that there's simple things, sustainable things that we can do to better the environment.
Well, doing things like, using a reusable canvas bag when I go to the grocery store. Instead of taking the plastic bags and then throwing them away, they're just going to end up in the landfill. If I don't throw them away properly, they might end up in the ocean, and that has a negative impact on the wildlife. That's part of my eco-footprint. So simple things like that. We can do things literally right in our yards, our gardens, our neighborhoods, our schools that help provide habitat for local wildlife. Just simply planting some flowers for the butterflies is going to help restore those elements of the ecosystem.
That's an interesting way to look at it, almost as if your backyard is an ecosystem, like you could have your own safari, not unlike Nim's experience on her island or another girl by the name of Emily.
Emily is a great example of the fact that you don't need to live on a tropical island like Nim to make a difference for the environment.
Well, here's the story of Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm 13 and I live in Michigan. One of my goals is to teach children about the importance of protecting wildlife and the environment. I've always loved animals, and my family has always cared about animals and the environment. I've been around wildlife my whole life. My family has hatched and raised ducks, raised and released butterflies and ladybugs, rescued, raised, and released orphan baby mammals, and I've loved it all. I have lots of favorite animals: frogs, horses, and dogs. And my favorite wild animal is a northern saw-whet owl. They are so beautiful and amazing. I love to look into their eyes. I do lots of things in my yard to help animals, like keeping feeders full in the winter, putting up bird houses before spring, and keeping an eye on who's visiting my yard. My brother Peter teaches classes and gives wildlife presentations to schools and churches, and I love to help him with the animals. It is so much fun to introduce children to animals and see their excitement.
He feels soft.
Doesn't he feel cold? When I got older, I realized that in order to protect animals, I need to take care of the environment first. The environment is their home where they get food, water, and shelter. There are lots of things that people can do to help the environment and reduce their eco-footprint. Use reusable water bottles, unplug rarely used appliances, use CFL light bulbs instead of incandescent, recycle junk mail, glass, metal, plastics, and cardboard, and bike or walk wherever possible. We are stewards of the environment, so we have a responsibility to take care of it. President Theodore Roosevelt, who started the wildlife refuge system in America, said, "Wildlife and its habitat cannot speak, so we must and we will."
Thanks, Emily. In the movie, Nim had to take on an entire cruise ship to protect the island and the wildlife she loves so much from invasion. Hopefully, like Emily, you won't have to take on a whole bunch of buccaneers to protect the environment.